Welcome to Reflections on the Masculine Journey with Raith. I'm Raith, and this is where we talk about wisdom, discipline, purpose, honor, and becoming the kind of man life requires. Today's episode is a little different. We are not introducing a brand new topic today. We are stepping back and looking at the foundation we have already built. The first 5 episodes of Masculine Journey Reflections were not random. They were the starting structure for the masculine journey. We began with why I wrote Manhood 101. Then we asked, what are modern men missing? Then we talked about why a man needs a code. Then we explored discipline before emotion. Then we moved into truth, honor, and integrity. Each of those episodes answers a different question. Episode 1 asks, why does manhood matter? Episode 2 asks, what are modern men missing? Episode 3 asks, what does a man stand on? Episode 4 asks, how does a man govern himself? Episode 5 asks, what values hold him together? Today we are going to connect those 5 questions and show how they become the foundation of the masculine journey. The first episode gave us the reason for the series. Manhood must be built. That is the first foundation point. Manhood is not automatic. A man is not simply born complete. He is shaped through choices, hardship, correction, responsibility, discipline, failure, reflection, and repeated action. That is why Manhood 101 matters. It is not just a book about being male. It is a conversation about becoming a man. There is a difference. Being male is biological. Becoming a man is developmental. A man can grow older and still not mature. He can collect years but not wisdom. He can collect experiences but never reflect on them. He can go through pain and never turn that pain into understanding. That is why reflection matters. Reflection turns experience into instruction. Without reflection, a man can suffer and learn nothing. He can fail and blame everyone else. He can repeat the same pattern for 20 years and call it bad luck. So episode 1 gives us the first lesson. The masculine journey begins when a man stops drifting and starts examining himself. He begins to ask, who am I becoming? What am I building? What do my habits prove? What kind of man does life require me to become? That is where the journey begins. But once a man begins examining himself, he eventually runs into the next question. What is missing? That is where episode 2 comes in. Episode 2 gave us the diagnosis. Modern men are missing structure. They are not missing information. They are not missing entertainment. They are not missing noise. They are surrounded by all of that. But many men are still restless. Many are isolated. Many are undisciplined. Many lack direction. Many do not know what they stand for. So what are they missing? They are missing purpose. They are missing discipline. They are missing real brotherhood. They are missing responsibility. They are missing wisdom. They are missing a strong identity. And they are missing a code, not just a list of nice words, a real code. Something inside them that says, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I will not become. Those are not small things. Those are structural things. When a man does not have purpose, he drifts. When he does not have discipline, his appetites start making decisions for him. When he does not have brotherhood, he loses accountability. He has no one close enough to challenge him, correct him, or call him higher. When he does not accept responsibility, he stays underdeveloped. He may get older, but he does not fully mature. When he does not have wisdom, he may know a lot of information, but still make foolish choices. When he does not have a strong identity, he becomes dependent on approval. He needs other people to tell him who he is. And when he does not have a code, he ends up negotiating his values every time pressure shows up. That is why structure matters. A man needs something inside him strong enough to hold him steady when life, emotion, temptation, and pressure try to move him. So episode 2 gives us the second lesson. The deeper issue is not that men are struggling. The deeper issue is that many men are struggling without structure. They do not have a framework for becoming. They do not have a standard to return to. They do not have language for what is missing. And when a man cannot name what is missing, he often tries to fill the emptiness with distraction. But distraction cannot replace structure. Once we understand that modern men are missing structure, the next question becomes, what kind of structure does a man need? That brings us to episode 3. Episode 3 gave us the framework. A man needs a code. But we did not define a code as a simple list of values. We defined a code as something deeper. A man's code is really his frame statement. That means his code tells him who he is. It tells him what he values. It tells him what he refuses. It tells him what he protects. It tells him how he will conduct himself under pressure. And it projects those values to others through his actions, boundaries, consistency, and discipline. A man's code speaks to himself first. It reminds him, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I will not become. This is what I must protect. This is what I must correct. This is how I return to center. But a man's code also speaks to the world. People learn your code by watching what you tolerate. They learn it by watching what you excuse. They learn it by watching how you respond when tested. They learn it by watching whether your word carries weight. They learn it by watching whether your values are real or decorative. So episode 3 gives us the third lesson. A man without a code is easily moved by the world. A man with a code carries his frame into the world. The code becomes internal law. It becomes self-command. It becomes the structure beneath masculine confidence. But a code is not tested when life is easy. A code is tested when emotion rises. That brings us to episode 4. Episode 4 gave us the internal battle. Emotion must be governed by discipline. A man can say he values truth, honor, responsibility, loyalty, courage, wisdom, and discipline. But what happens when he is angry? What happens when he is afraid? What happens when he is tempted? What happens when he is hurt? What happens when he feels rejected? What happens when pride wants to speak? That is where discipline must stand before emotion. This does not mean emotion is evil. Emotion is not weakness. A man should be able to feel. He should be able to love. He should be able to grieve. He should be able to recognize fear, anger, sadness, disappointment, and desire. But emotion gives information. Discipline chooses action. That is the key. Anger may tell you that a boundary has been crossed. Fear may tell you there is uncertainty. Sadness may tell you something that mattered. Guilt may tell you your actions violated your values. Desire may tell you what you're drawn toward. But none of those emotions should automatically become your commander. A disciplined man does not deny emotion. He governs his response to it. That is where the pause becomes powerful. The pause is the space between feeling and acting. A boy feels and reacts. A man feels, pauses, evaluates, and chooses. So episode 4 gives us the fourth lesson. Discipline before emotion is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming trustworthy with your own power. Strength without discipline becomes dangerous. Anger without discipline becomes destruction. Desire without discipline becomes addiction. Pain without discipline becomes bitterness. But emotion governed by discipline becomes wisdom, clarity, and controlled strength. Now, if a man has a code and if discipline governs his emotions, the next question becomes, what are the pillars that hold that code together? That brings us to episode 5. Episode 5 gave us the pillars. Truth, honor, and integrity hold the code together. If the code is a man's frame statement, then truth, honor, and integrity are the pillars that keep that frame from collapsing. Truth says, I will not be ruled by deception. Honor says, I will not sell my character. Integrity says, I will not divide myself. Truth is where manhood begins because a man cannot correct what he refuses to face. He cannot repair what he will not inspect. He cannot build a strong life on lies. He cannot become stronger while defending what keeps him weak. Honor is the weight of a man's name. Can his word be trusted? Can his family rely on him? Can his children see a standard in him? Can his conduct be respected? Can he look at himself and know he did not sell his character for comfort, approval, pleasure, or convenience? Integrity means wholeness. It means a man is not one person in public and another in private. It means his values, words, and actions move in the same direction. It means when he fails, he does not build a home in failure. He returns to alignment. So episode 5 gives us the fifth lesson. A man's life is built or broken by what he repeatedly chooses. Tell the truth, protect your honor, live with integrity, become the man that is the standard. Don't simply adopt others. Now we can see the structure. Episode 1 gave us the reason. Manhood must be built. Episode 2 gave us the diagnosis. Modern men are missing structure. Episode 3 gave us the framework. A man needs a code. Episode 4 gave us the internal battle. Emotion must be governed by discipline. Episode 5 gave us the pillars. Truth, honor, and integrity hold the code together. That is the foundation. Manhood is not built by slogans. It is not built by appearance. It is not built by anger. It is not built by copying another man's image. It is built by alignment. A man must align his thoughts, values, words, actions, emotions, habits, and responsibilities. When those things are divided, the man is divided. When those things are aligned, the man gains strength. That is why this series is called Masculine Journey Reflections. Reflection helps a man see where he is aligned and where he is divided. Reflection asks, am I living what I claim to believe? Does my code show up in my conduct? Do my emotions obey my discipline? Does my name carry honor? Am I telling myself the truth? Am I becoming the standard, or am I copying someone else's image? Those questions build a man, not overnight, but over time. The first 5 episodes create what I call the masculine foundation. That foundation has 5 stones. The first stone is self-examination. A man must be willing to look at himself honestly. The second stone is direction. A man must know what he is building and why. The third stone is code. A man must have principles that guide him before pressure arrives. The fourth stone is discipline. A man must govern his emotions, desires, and reactions. The fifth stone is integrity. A man must bring his values, words, and actions into alignment. When those 5 stones are in place, a man becomes harder to move off center. He becomes more stable, more reliable, more grounded, more useful, more dangerous to chaos, more capable of leadership, not because he is perfect, but because he is building from the inside out. That is real masculine development. Inside-out construction, not image first, character first, not performance first, principle first, not approval first, alignment first. But there is a warning here. Now here's the warning. A man can listen to every one of these episodes and still not change. He can nod his head, agree with the words, and still avoid the work. He can say, yes, truth matters, but keep lying to himself. He can admire honor, but still cut corners when no one is watching. He can talk about discipline, but still let impulse run his life. He can say he has a code, but abandon that code the moment it becomes inconvenient. And that is the difference between hearing the message and living the message. Because the masculine journey is not proven by what a man agrees with. It is proven by what he repeatedly chooses. At some point, a man has to move from reflection to correction. He has to stop just liking the idea of becoming better and start doing the work that actually makes him better. That is why the masculine journey cannot remain intellectual. At some point, a man has to act. He has to stop just thinking about change and start making corrections. That may mean having the hard conversation he has been avoiding. It may mean stopping the destructive habit he keeps excusing. It may mean telling the truth when the truth is uncomfortable. It may mean apologizing without defending himself. It may mean rebuilding trust one action at a time. It may mean keeping a promise he made to himself. It may mean setting a boundary where he has been too passive. It may mean choosing discipline when emotion wants control. And maybe most importantly, it means he has to stop borrowing other men's standards and start becoming the standard himself. Because a man does not become stronger by admiring strength. He becomes stronger by practicing it. The journey is not proven by what a man says he believes. It is proven by what he repeatedly chooses. That is the line between interest and transformation. Many men are interested in becoming better. Fewer men are willing to be transformed. Transformation requires action. Practical exercise. Before we close, here's the exercise that pulls the first 5 episodes together. Write this at the top of a page. My masculine foundation. Then answer 5 questions. Question 1. What kind of man am I becoming based on my habits? That comes from episode 1. Question 2. What am I missing most right now? Purpose, discipline, brotherhood, responsibility, wisdom, identity, or a code? That comes from episode 2. Question 3. What are 5 principles that belong in my personal code? That comes from episode 3. Question 4. What emotion most often pulls me out of frame? That comes from episode 4. Question 5. Where do I need more truth, honor, or integrity in my life? That comes from episode 5. Answer those honestly. Don't perform. Don't write what sounds good. Write what is true. Then pick one correction for this week, one action, one habit, one conversation, one boundary, one promise, one responsibility, one act of discipline. That is how the masculine journey moves from reflection into construction. Reflect, correct, build, repeat. This has been Masculine Journey Reflections, the foundation of the masculine journey. I'm Raith, and this is Reflections on the Masculine Journey with Raith. Today we tied together the first 5 episodes. Why I wrote Manhood 101. What modern men are missing. A man needs a code, discipline before emotion, and truth, honor, and integrity. Together, these lessons form the foundation of the masculine journey. A man must examine himself. He must know what is missing. He must build a code. He must govern his emotions. He must live with truth, honor, and integrity. And he must become the man that is the standard, not simply adopt the standards of others. If this message speaks to you, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, and share this episode with another man who is building himself with purpose. Leave a comment with this answer. Which of the first 5 lessons do you need most right now? Is it reflection, purpose, a code, discipline, truth, honor, integrity? In the next episode, we will move into the next stage of the journey. Purpose gives a man direction. Manhood is not automatic. Until then, remember, a man is built by what he repeatedly chooses. Tell the truth. Live your code. Discipline your emotions. Protect your honor. Build with integrity. And keep becoming the man life requires. I'll see you next time on Reflections on the Masculine Journey with Raith.